What is pussy poppin'?
You're on fire!
My name is Ariane Andrew.
And I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode. It is Piping Hot. We are here. We're going to sip some tea, honey.
Well, I get spill some tea, honey.
Oh, we got our four-legged co-host with us, Miss Mama.
And little Glitty serving looks for days.
And let me tell you, honey, we got a real peach joining us today. She is the newest housewife on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but she is oh so much more. Businesswoman, badass boss, fashionista, and girl, let me tell you, she does a lot for the community. So we are so happy to have Miss Tanya Sam.
Yes.
Like energy's at 100, and I'm living for this.
I mean, it's a good life. It's
And
a good
you're
life.
serving looks, girl.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I'm like, okay, girl, I see you.
If you ain't watching Atlanta Housewives this season, she is the numero uno fashionista.
Yes.
You know, I have a little crown. It's little. You know, I'm wearing it for the season, and that's fine. It's all good.
How are you enjoying being on this journey? Because the housewife journey is very interesting. What's your take on this?
I'm loving it. Like,
You are?
honestly, I'm loving it. I'm
Okay.
having so much fun. It's a blast. Like, and I feel like you just have to not take it so seriously. Everyone comes to me and they're like, how's it going? Like, they expect bombs and all these explosions. I'm like, YOLO, let's just do this, right? Like, why not?
I think that's also something positive in life as well.
You're
Great
right.
for television and great for like just roll with the punches.
Yeah, and that's exactly, it's so funny because when, you know, I kind of knew some of the girls just a little bit, like I met Nene a couple times shopping at her store, and my fiance and Eva's husband were friends. They went to Morehouse, they'd done business together. So like, Atlanta's a small place. You kind of get to know people, you see them out at events. And then Nene was really the one who planted the bug in my ear of like, come film with us. Like,
Okay.
so I was like, okay.
The queen bee.
The queen bee.
Queen bee.
The queen bee.
Well, that's not a bad friend to have in your corner.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. And I got a lot of people who were like, are you sure?
Because
Look
reality,
at you.
reality
Look at you.
TV is. Wait, I have to ask though,
Yeah.
because I know you used to be a nurse.
Yeah.
So how did you go from nursing to entrepreneurship, businesswoman to reality TV, girls? I need
Fill
you
in
to
the gaps.
Spill
Okay.
the tea, girl. Spill
So
the
many
tea.
leaps of faith, and you know, I think it's par for the course. Like, clearly I'm not afraid to take these crazy shifts and jumps along the way. But yeah, so I come from a family of doctors. Like, my dad's a
Okay.
doctor, my sister's a doctor, like my aunts, uncles, everyone's in medicine. So I went to school, I did a degree in genetics, cell biology, did that for a
Smart.
bit. Yeah, totally geeky. It was like me and flies in a lab, like mad scientist, nerd.
I love
And
it.
now you're just a glamour
I mean,
song.
like, nerd geek. I almost want
Wait,
to
can
show
we pause
you.
for a second?
Yeah.
Because I just saw something. Could you show me this?
Yeah.
Damn, girl,
I know
that's brilliant.
I know. Ooh,
I was like, I'm a geek, and I
Wait,
was like,
how many carats is that?
that's some
A lot.
camera.
Enough.
I'm like,
Enough.
ooh,
You know,
Lord.
some people might be like, oh, that's not big enough. Mine's bigger. Because we
What are we
put
talking about?
rings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, how many carats? You
I
know?
was talking about bigness of things. You
Yeah.
know.
But some people, you know.
Baffled.
All right, we digress. We digress.
Yeah, we gotta
Anyways,
track.
where did we get from? Oh, yeah. How we made jumps.
Yes,
to
from
this,
nursing,
to that.
yes.
So yeah. So anyways, I was doing that for years, for about a decade, and then I met my fiance.
On Rodeo Drive,
Oh,
babe.
yes, I saw that story. I was like,
Gosh.
oh wait, you got to give us the tea on that too.
Okay, so
girl.
let's
He's
go there.
hot, Sam.
I love the way
He's
you guys,
hot.
because I have ADD in my conversations.
Oh, it's
like I
like-
talk to people, and so you know when you vibe with people and they can just go
Yeah,
with you.
we just going right here with you.
Other people, they're like, I lost you over here,
Oh, no,
there.
no, no.
Like,
We here.
We here.
We here.
Okay, so let's go back. So yeah, I was on a business trip with my sister. It was my first time in LA. And at the this is the crazy part. At the beginning of the day, I don't know if you guys have siblings, but I basically said to my siblings, I was like, this trip sucks. It's so boring. We haven't done anything fun. And my sister's really funny. She's like, ask the universe what you would like to do. And I was like, oh my God, I want to meet somebody who's really hot. I want to climb Runyon Canyon, whatever. So the day goes on.
Okay.
And we end up on Rodeo Drive because when you're a tourist in LA, where do you go?
You get on that bus, honey. You go check
Right,
it out, girl.
right? You're like, oh my
Did you
gosh,
say
Rodeo
the
Drive.
Yeah.
The tourist bus.
The tourist
man.
bus.
I didn't do the bus.
I'm like,
that's
that is
no, people do that though. It's
Everybody
a
does
big
that. We're
thing.
not shaming
Yeah.
anybody that does that.
no shade. But I was like, okay, girl, if you told me you got on that bus, I would have
I
been
didn't get on
like,
the bus. I didn't get on the bus. But I definitely was like ticking off the tourist list of
Got
stuff to
it.
do.
Okay.
And then we're on Rodeo Drive. It's me and my sister, and I see this guy, and he was wearing just like a white t-shirt, jeans, and he had on these sneakers. This was like 7 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, that guy is just, I love him.
And it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Damn, this universe need a break.
I know.
Enjoy.
I'm like, where's my
I
baby-
walked down with
my
Rodeo
baby
Drive and I
daddy?
end up just spending money.
No,
So
I
I'm
know.
not finding these men,
and it
girl.
just happened like that. And so then, you know, I'm like giving him my like bedroom eyes, like, please look at me, look at me. And he was like, oh, kind of saw this girl.
It's like, let me just jump.
Okay, so I was like sticking at my butt. You know how it is. Come on, girl, with this list.
Yeah,
you work your ass off.
That is
Like,
true.
okay, and then my sister was like, go talk to him. And I was like, no, I can't. I'm too shy. And she's like, oh God, well, I'm hungry. So you got about 30 seconds and then we're out
she
of
put
here.
the clock timer.
Yeah, and so she just went up to him. She's like, hey, you, nice running shoes. And I stood, she broke the ice. And I just stood there like this.
Speechless.
And that was it.
And
like,
that's now 7 years later.
we ended up having a conversation. We're like this and da da da. And he wasn't really sure if I was talking to him
Or if
my
your
sister
sister.
was. And he was like, damn, but I like this one. I don't understand. So then,
the story.
it was great. So he basically was like, listen, my sister's like, I'm hungry. I got to go. Because I was just like, and so he was like, look, I'm about to meet my friends for a cocktail. You guys want to come? Why don't you both come? And so we ended up having like 5 hours of cocktails at Villa Blanca.
There you go.
Yep.
Ooh,
and that was it.
fancy.
Like 5 days later, he was like, yeah. That day, he was like, oh yeah. I lived in New York at the time. He was like, so I have this business trip in New York on next Friday. Are you going to be around? Come to find out, there was no business trip. But he was like, I'm about to get
He's
on a
working
plane
this
for this
out.
girl.
I love that.
I love that.
I love that.
Wait,
That was
so how
it.
does he feel about this whole show situation?
I will say, like, he has been a driving force for this. And I can't imagine doing it without a partner who's engaged because it's pretty all-consuming, right?
Yeah, it
like,
is.
Correct.
It's, you come home, you're like, oh my God, I need to vent about something, this. And, you know, if you don't have a guy who's into it, he'll be like, I don't want to talk about this. So
Well, that's when you get the divorce, honey.
that's exactly.
When
No, I
you're
get
out.
it clearly, and he is so incredible. Like but he looks at it with such a different lens than maybe some people. He's like super techie, so he'll be like the type of person to be like, we need a spreadsheet about da 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 da. And I'm like, I didn't even know you can make a spreadsheet about something like that. And he'll just like put his mind to it. So
Kinda like, that's a smart approach. I mean, I will
hot.
say I love
She's like,
the,
it was hot.
the
It's hot.
authentic moment of the relationship with you and Eva and the husbands.
Like-
because I think that's a nice moment. One of the recent episodes you did a dinner. And
I love
thought
that.
was
Matt, like, that's one of my favorite
really
things.
cute. I thought that was authentic and nice and real. And then you invited all the peaches over, and we don't know where that's ending up right now. But I was like, you're never inviting them back in your house again, are you, girl?
I mean,
that
I
was
just
some
love to have
feisty
fun.
drama.
Spill the tea, girl. Who's your favorite and who's your least favorite?
So I will say, going back to what you said, there's like a genuine bromance with the dudes.
The dudes,
Like,
and I love that. It's
Portia's,
like the underlying story.
Portia's Dennis and Mike, like they all get along. They like to hang out. Even, you know, Shamia, who's been on the show before, her husband, you know, they like to hang out. So I think all the guys really get along, and that's fun because you can't drag your man to like these couple things, and he's like, I hate them.
Not the way Housewives do
You
things.
can't,
No,
like,
you,
so it's
you have
nice.
the lingerie nights and these nights. I was like, you got good men.
Yeah.
But I would say Atlanta Housewives is the one show in the franchise I think that really does emphasize the men as kind of a underlying storyline here.
Yep.
And those dynamics and those relationships as it pertains to all you ladies.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so successful.
Oh, that's good to know. No,
Because
it's
out
true.
of all of them, I was like, you know, that you get a bit of authenticity in there. Well, you know, everything in this day and age is produced because it's entertainment.
This show is not produced. Like,
It's
I
not?
tell people, everyone always asks me, they're like, tell me the truth. I was like, what you see is what you get. Like, I promise you. And I was almost, to be honest, I was
Marlo
almost
Hampton, honey.
surprised.
Come on, Marlo Hampton. She's producing her life, child. No,
Okay, well,
yes or no?
That's like one of those like esoteric questions, like are we producing our lives or whatever? But from a reality television standpoint, everyone thinks there's going to be like lines in a script.
No, none of that.
no,
None of that. None of that. But I know that working, because I worked on the Real Housewives of New York, so I know that there's a storyboard of this is what's going on in my life.
We don't get to see it. We like, I mean, you're like, I would say I'm a creator of my own life and destiny.
Because you have so many fascinating things happening.
So
it's not like you have enough content to last for multiple seasons.
Yeah, I'm grinding for my life. But it's never that they're like, I want you to go over there and snatch that girl's wig off. That'll be great TV. Like, that never happens.
She's like, but would you snatch a wig?
I'm not a wig.
I know, you don't seem like that. You seem so sweet.
Like, I just feel like everyone should keep their hair on.
I think everybody should get their fingers out of your face.
Yeah, all of that. But here's the thing that I say. I'm Canadian, so I feel like that speaks volumes to my personality because everyone's like, you're so nice.
Isn't the Canadian A?
You are.
You're just so nice. But like, don't get us twisted. Like, we're respectful, we are polite, but like, you can't push us too far. Like,
you
we're
don't take
still
me as a pushover, baby girl. So I'm not worried about you there. I'm not worried about you there. All right, I think we've given, Housewives is fabulous and all, but I really want to dig into you.
Your business, girl.
Because your business is under the tech umbrella, but it also has an underlining tone of helping young Black women, especially, and young women, to really help them start on their path.
Well, I like it to be even bigger than that. I think one of the things is it's one of the reasons that I agreed to do the show, because it's like I made these leaps and jumps, and I've watched Paul, like my fiance, he came from Baton Rouge, went to Morehouse, has a PhD from Georgia Tech, and people are always like, especially in the tech industry, whoa, like, you're a unicorn. How did you do this? They say that all the time. And I at first would be like, wow, but people would come up to him in the airport and be like, you're amazing, man. I've followed your story for so long. And but it's true, there's not a lot of entrepreneurs at his level and how did you do it, and some of it's a lot of it's hard work and some of it's just you're the one. So I kind of felt like using the show to showcase that is big, and I've gotten a huge response from women who are like, oh my gosh, tell me how you did it. So that's something I've always been very passionate about. So 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, we bought a building in Georgia Tech area. It was an old Office Depot. And so we turned that into TechSquare Labs. So it's an entrepreneurship innovation hub, and we focus on early stage entrepreneurs, people who have an idea, they're trying to build a technology company or some sort of business. So I run and operate that building, center, all our programs and operations.
Wow.
So
she's a boss.
Yeah, and it's great because it's fun because you kind of own the business, so you can do what you want. So that's where, some of our programs came out of. So Built by Women was a program, and I was like, there really aren't a lot of female entrepreneurs. There are lots, but there's not enough. So how do we help more? So Built by Women was a program where we basically sent out applications for early stage female founders who are building technology companies or technology assisted companies.
Okay.
So it's broad. We got applications from, people building education tech, fashion tech, to makeup, to barbering companies. So we had 9 female founders building companies, and our goal was to help them build successful technology companies, find access to capital. Even how to pitch your company to people so that they will invest
It's all encompassing. I really do. I think there's so many layers to the business side of you.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the dynamic between you and the fiance, because you guys work together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably why the housewife experience is a little easier, because you've already done it.
Oh my God, you're so smart.
Well, because most people, most people are trying to get to where you are already at. People go on shows to create a platform, to create a business, but you're been there, done that. So
been there, done that. And I think
and still doing that.
And still doing that.
That's a dynamic between that is what you see on screen.
Yeah.
You can't write that.
No. And part of that too is we've gone through building businesses together, which is the most stressful thing you could ever do. So we're reality television. This is cool. We could do this. We've gone through the last company that Paul co-founded, it's a security company. There's 300 employees. They're all looking at you
yeah.
That's a bubble in and of itself.
Direction.
Brought in did a little bit more.
I love that, though. I think there's so much that you bring a different flavor and spice to this show. And I think outside, you're already on the fast track already. You have your direction. I want to talk flip to a bit about the philanthropy stuff that you do. I want to talk about.
Thank you.
I think for that, it's business is fabulous, but I think philanthropy and giving back, and even in your business, you do give back, being able to do that. But I think that centers and levels a human being out. So give us, let the viewers know.
Spill the tea, girl.
Okay, so this is Well, I'll back up and tell you where this came from.
Yeah.
So my sister and I lost our mom when we were 11 and 12 years old, so super young. And obviously I'm like, just turned 40. So that was years ago, right? And I think it's changed now about how you deal with grief and loss as, a young person. Back in the day, it was kind of like, okay, cool, cry, no, don't talk about it, and let's, buck up sort of thing. So I'm on the board of directors for this organization called Kate's Club, and Kate was founded by like one of my dear friends 15 years ago. She also lost her mom. And she basically went around just to like hospices and be like, hey, oh, there's a kid in there. Cool, kid, you want to come with me? I've got some other kids. Let's go play and talk about your loss.
Okay.
Like that alone is such a novel idea.
Yeah.
So 15 years later, we have a clubhouse in Atlanta. We run weekly programs for free. We have about 150 kids that cycle through our weekly programs. So you can imagine 150 kids who are like, I've lost my mom, my sister, my twin, my grandma, and like, I need a place where I can talk about it, have play therapy.
And be surrounded by other people going.
Yes.
It's so major.
What's the age kind of?
5 to 18.
See, that stage of life, that's a defining moment. But to be
so
surrounded by others going through that,
is so major. Like these kids will just, like honestly, it was therapy I didn't even know I needed. And so.
Isn't that the best though?
It's like I'll do anything, and they'll just break your heart. We also have a summer camp. So summer camp, this summer we sent 550, almost 600 kids to camp for like 4 days. We did 2 camps, and they're just playing, they're laughing, but at the same time we're doing activities like, hey, we have a memory walk for their parent that they lost, where they take a picture and they're able to. It's
like very
Ariane. Like imagine this. There's this cute little kid, and she comes up. This is how I knew. This is when Kate brought me to camp the first day. She's like, oh, your hair is so pretty. She's, can I braid your hair? And she goes, oh, my mom used to braid my hair. Did you lose your mommy too? Oh. And I was like, oh my God, like, I get goosebumps. I was literally like, what can I do to help? She's 6. Did you lose your mommy too? And you're like, oh my God.
That's like that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Like it's so. Ooh.
It's all good.
Yeah. But like, it's just like stuff like that. You're like, this is where I want to help, right? Because it's just meaningful to you.
But it's authentic because you're stemming from. This kind of blown me away. I need to. I need to breathe it in because I really appreciate what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Because it's real and it's something that it's actually. You would think, I was like, I've never really heard of a space where people can come and deal, especially at that age bracket. Because a lot of people I love the adage of, and fucked up.
And you're a kid, you're like, I don't even know what that means.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Okay, I'll say one more thing about this. I think, number one, about why it's so important, just especially, this is like totally sombering, but in this day and age, like there's school shootings, there's just like suicide levels up. So when that happens to a high school, when, kids don't know what to do. So the parents, everyone's looking around like, who do we ask for help? And so that's where we're trying to take the organization into becoming a resource because people don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's just like, sorry for your loss. And you can't, there's nothing that can describe that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
I lost my ex on Christmas Day. And even me being at my age, it's like such a hard thing to process. It's so hard and it takes time. So it's nice to be around people who have experienced the same thing because then it's like, okay, I get where you're coming from and you know what to say. Because it's really, what can you say besides, I'm
really sorry for your loss.
You can't say, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
Yeah.
You just be there for people.
Exactly.
And I think what you're creating is this beautiful community where people, it doesn't have to be about the words either. If you want to talk about it, you can. If not, you'll just know that you're surrounded by love.
Yeah.
And I think that you're so much more than just a housewife, honey.
I'm
glad you're on the show because you bring a nice flavor to it. I'm glad you're on the show, but I think
you're bringing a positive.
You guys need to be following Tanya up on the ground and finding out about all that she's doing because you're really bringing it in on so many other levels. And I'm not sure everybody knows because we get slices of you on the show. She's giving in the fashion. I ain't gonna let you leave here without, top to bottom, high to low.
Okay.
What's popping?
Okay.
What's popping?
Okay. So started with my bundles. No, just okay.
Yeah, girl.
I'm just kidding, y'all. Kidding. But they are. No. Okay, so I have a mix. Are we? You want me to really go through?
Yes. Chanel.
Girl,
Okay,
yes.
so I did a double Chanel chain, but that's always it. This dress is Alice and Olivia, like one of my favorite brands. Like Stacy, Bendo, can we just be friends? Because like I will wear your stuff forever and ever, all the way down.
I got her email.
Okay, and then I'll just give you my shoes.
Give me some shoes. We're gonna try one.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Can you see it? I gotta work on my flexibility.
She was like,
she is like,
and my dog's fast asleep. You're bringing some zen to her, babe.
I love this dog. I hope y'all can see.
Here.
Mommy, because mommy needs to give some more life.
Like, seriously, don't you want a French kiss?
Get it, girl. Get it, girl. I want to play before we wrap this up because we gotta spill some tea.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're gonna kill, we're gonna marry, and we're gonna
Oh, love it.
the house husbands of Atlanta.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think that one.
I can't do this. Can we pick some randoms? Because they're like, it's like asking you to like,
I know.
someone else's.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Come on. Well, I know you're
Come
gonna
on, girl.
with your man.
Yes.
You can
Is my man in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a husband.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so wait. Well, Obs, I'd marry Paul, but I also want to Paul all the time. It's so hard.
But you might want to kill him sometimes too.
Right?
Rarely.
He's too perfect.
No.
Y'all
I
rarely.
gotta meet this man.
Like, rarely. I'll just be like, I feel like I don't ever want to kill him. I just want like, you're getting on my nerves. Bye-bye. And it's like 5 minutes later, and then he's like,
that's some true love on right there.
Right?
That kind of shit.
No, I'm like, I need that in my life.
We also like work together, travel together. So there is definitely days, and I honestly say like he's kind of he's really, really smart. So sometimes that's super annoying because like it's like working with like
You're not
An encyclopedia?
You're a dummy, girl.
no like
I'm
a
getting the vibe.
Kanye or something or a Steve Jobs
Okay.
where they're like visionary.
Got
Gotcha.
it.
So I guess that gets on my nerves. But apart from that, like I'd like to keep him alive.
I think she did. She answered.
I'd like to
If
keep
it's
him
your
alive.
man, it's your man.
You know, exactly.
Like I can't honestly like, I don't like to think about other penis very often.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Peter Thomas back in the day was kind of popping. That, Grandpa Smurf.
Bye, Felipe.
He just came back on the last
I
episode.
know.
And I saw he definitely got some love.
Wait, on that note, I'm gonna need you to go ahead, girl, and plug in where everybody can.
Where they gonna find
Where they
that
gonna
back
find
camera?
you, your businesses, your
Okay.
social media.
Start on my Insta, it's Tanya Time, or you can just hashtag it's Tanya Time. Let's see, you can follow me on Facebook, it's Tanya Time. Twitter, it's Tanya Sam. Please look us up on Kate's Club, at Kate's Club, www.katesclub.org. I feel like a saleswoman right now. And what else? I think that's the biggest places to follow me, techsquare.co. You can learn about Built by Women and Ascend 2020. And you guys are
Wait, I went to watch the show, girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She said, I forgot about the show.
Please watch us on Bravo, 8 p.m. This Sunday is going to be lit. Oh my gosh. I
Yes.
don't even know what to say.
Boom, done and done. You can
Yeah.
follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew and this little nugget at Glitty Glit.
And you can follow me at Matt Dillon 1983, and this little special being over here, it's Moment 2011. I guess the dog's going with Tanya.
Oh my gosh,
to Atlanta.
please. Like,
Right?
seriously, I want a dog so badly. I just don't know how to fit a dog into my life. Like, I would
No, you gotta get one, girl.
Okay, girl, we end our show with a little cheers. Thank you
A
for
little
coming.
cheers. Thank you for coming. So
Thank
you
you for letting me
guys,
sip with y'all.
next time on Sippin' the Tea on Focus TV Network, we will catch you guys next week.
Bye. Woo!
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.